All right, just making a quick video on life cycles. Just because the numbers you see are not necessarily what you're gonna get, right? Like you've heard that phrase, like what you see is what you get. But with life cycles, it's not really the case because of the way they do the standardized tests. It's not really a reflection on how you're going to use it. It's more of just a baseline test so that you can make a comparison to other battery types, right? Like so NMC versus LFP. You can clearly see that LFP gets a lot more life cycles, right? But the point of this video is that you know the test is actually a little unfair to NMC batteries, and it makes them look, it makes them almost look useless, like right, like why would you even spend money on them? So I just wanted to kind of go over that in this video, just in case maybe you bought an NMC power station recently and you've kind of had some regrets about it, or maybe you just have some that you're afraid to use. You're just worried about using them, or maybe you just you really like Jackery, like for example, right? And maybe you just really like it. Like at the end of the day, I would just say buy what you like, right? Number one, don't worry about all these numbers. You're gonna ask me like what would you recommend? I would still definitely recommend LFP over NMC, just because everything we're gonna talk about in this video still applies to LFP. So you probably find that you get even more life cycles with LFP as well, compared to the rating, and then LFP does have some benefits as far as like safety and environmental issues. So yeah, so this video is not like gonna be like a pro NMC video by any means, but like I said, just kind of explaining the reality of life cycles. So the two main factors are depth of discharge and the C rate. So depth of discharge is just basically how much of the available capacity are you using during any given cycle. And the C rate is the rate of discharge or the rate of charging in comparison to the size of the battery. So with NMC batteries, you typically see this, right? You typically see like 500 cycles, 80%. But the key thing to note is that that's tested like with 100% depth of discharge, doing a 1C discharge rate, and then a 0.5C charge rate back up. So with 100% depth of discharge, that's basically going from 100% to 0% every time, right? So you start at 100, you go down to 0, and then you charge it back up all the way to 100, and you do that every single time. Now, if you're doing that, I would just say don't stop doing that, because it's not good for the batteries. Is the whole point of this video. Basically, you want to avoid anywhere near 100%. You want to avoid anywhere near 0%. And the reason is it's just harder on the battery. Basically, you accelerate the rate that the battery degrades. Anytime you get close to 100%, anytime you get close to 0%. But if you think about how you really use it, you're probably not waiting for it to die until you charge it back up, right? You're probably going to charge it back up before that happens. And then you might charge it all the way up, or maybe you might not even charge it all the way up, right? Before using it again. So just think about the average that you do, when you use these things. Is it 100% every time? Or is it probably more likely it's probably 70 or 80%, right, that you're doing. So this is a 1C discharge. This is a high rate. And this is kind of the main factor of why I think these tests are a little bit unfair to NMC batteries. Because basically the higher the C rate, the more heat you're creating inside of the battery. And this heat is actually one of the main factors that degrades the battery and actually leads to having less life cycles. And basically, NMC batteries are more affected by this heat than LFP batteries. So if you do a high C rate, you're going to create more heat inside of that battery. So yeah, if you compare like a 1C discharge on an NMC battery to a 1C discharge on an LFP battery, of course the LFP battery is going to do better because the LFP battery handles heat better. So and the thing is, what you're going to find is that, think about it. Are you doing a 1C discharge? Like if you have a 1,000 watt-hour battery, are you starting at 100%? Turning on a 1,000 watt load and then having that run all the way until it dies. Uh, probably not. Like even if you did that once, it's not the end of the world. But think about every single time you do it, right? Are you doing that? Probably not. You're probably doing something more like this example here, where you're going to have some, you're going to be doing some high loads. You might even do higher than a 1C discharge, right? But it's not for an extended period of time, and it's not the entire capacity. And then you're probably going to do a bunch of like moderate loads, and you might even find that you're doing for extended periods of time. You're doing small loads, right? Like maybe you're just charging up an iPad or something. So yeah, this is like if you were to actually total this up. I haven't actually. These are just some numbers I threw together, but if you were to total these up, you would probably find that they're you might be like on an average of like 300 watts, 400 watts, which is only like a point 0.4 C discharge. So, if you combine doing a lower discharge, a lower C rate discharge on average, and you're not actually doing the 100% depth of discharge either, you're dramatically increasing your life cycles because you're not doing anything near this kind of standardized test. Now, as far as for charging goes, 0.5C charging, so a 1,000 watt-hour battery charging at 500 watts. A lot of these units now do have a fast charge option that might even be faster than this. So this you might be doing, but the thing I would just say is like don't fast charge unless you absolutely need to fast charge, right? I mean, if you're in a circumstance where time is crucial, yeah, then it's fine, do it. But a lot of these power stations that have fast charge, they have an option to not fast charge, right? To do a slow charge. So if you're just charging it up for the sake of charging it up, and it doesn't really matter, just do the slow charge. Because if you do that in combination with the other things that we just talked about, you can see that you're really starting to dramatically increase this number. So we started out at 500 cycles. You'll probably find that now with NMC batteries here, you probably find that you can get 1,500 to 2,000 cycles in reality. The best part about all of this is that all of this does apply to lithium iron phosphate batteries as well. So, realistically, you're going to get a lot more. Like if you were worried about only getting 2,500 cycles, you're going to get a lot more than that too. So much so that like you're not going to use these. This isn't going to happen, right? Like the age and years is going to just kill this battery anyway. So yeah, hopefully you found this interesting or have someone hopefully someone found it helpful. And yeah, thanks for watching.